Thanks. My name is Jon Parise. I'm one of the co-founders and chief revenue officer of Gig Labs. We built a platform that allows brands to build white-labeled NFT stores and marketplaces. And as mentioned, we also built Rare Rooms, which allows NFT collectors to showcase their NFTs in a 3D virtual environment. And it also allows our brand partners and any artist partners to create a really cool customized experience in a virtual world for their fans. So we started the company back in late 2017, and we really had the idea that we were going to build the tools and the technology that was going to allow brands to enter the NFT space. And as you might imagine, the demand for that prior to this March or this February was rather low. But because we were in the space, because we already had some customers, we were in a pretty unique position when the NFT market exploded back in February and March to take a lot of inbound calls from these brands who were looking to enter the space. So I hope in this short amount of time to be able to share some of what I've learned in talking and working with a lot of these brands, and kind of share some examples, as well as kind of give a look into where I think this is going to be heading in the future. And I specifically put in this legacy piece here, which may not be needed, but really, celebrities and influencers are brands in their own right, but they really have different motivations than traditional brands. So this statement might be redundant given some of the other speakers that have already come up, but it's something we've been saying for a long time, and that's if a brand wants to stay relevant with their customer in the future, they are going to need to have an NFT strategy. The idea around digital ownership is just far too powerful, and it's something that brands cannot ignore. This doesn't mean that every NFT strategy is going to look the same, obviously, but it does mean that brands will embrace NFTs in the future. And the big reason why, obviously, is money. The money in the space is just undeniable. But when companies come to us and they first approach us looking to talk about how do I enter the NFT space or what can we do with NFTs, typically the first person or the first point of contact is someone in a corporate strategy role, a business development role. They're really looking to expand their business through NFTs. It's not to say that brands are looking for a cash grab, right? And that's like the response you might see on Twitter or in social a lot of times, but really they're trying to understand, like, what can NFTs do to expand our business and make money? And I think that is, that's their responsibility. That's what they're there for. That's their purpose. But really when it kind of starts to boil down, like the question we ask is, well, you want to do NFTs, well, what's your goal as a business? Is it to stay relevant? Is it to build customer loyalty? Is it to reach a brand new audience? And so starting with business strategy and then trying to figure out what the NFT strategy is always the right way to go. The tension that we get quite often with brands is that this is a completely new business model. If you think about the traditional way that brands do business, I, as a customer, come to you, you provide me goods and services, and then I pay you money for that. The flow of money is always going in one direction towards the brand. In a previous role before NFTs, I was working in a customer marketing and a loyalty marketing agency, and the message we would always preach is that loyalty is a two-way street. And I think this has never been more apparent with NFTs. When a new NFT is launched, the creator has to be thinking not only about value for them, but also value for their collectors. And so this is a big shift in the mindset of brands, but when they do start to get it, they start to explore the possibilities. And I think as the market has cooled down, especially like over the course of the summer, brands are taking a more thoughtful approach. And the ones that we talk to are trying to think about not only like what is something we could do to stay cool and be a part of the conversation, but also to really use NFTs as a way to expand their business. So in the last couple of slides, I did not attempt to try to like capture all the brands that are launching NFT projects. And in fact, like in the week and a half or 2 weeks since I put these slides together, I think I saw like a dozen more pop up, like the McRib NFT. It is something I am interested in doing because I do find this whole thing very fascinating. It's like NFTs represent a huge shift for brands, and so I am really fascinated in how they're doing it. So I've toyed around with the idea of putting together some kind of collection online, and if that's something that anyone would want to collaborate with or contribute to, I'd love to talk. But in these two groups, these very, very crude groups, and the way that I've seen brands enter the space, I've got the Testing the Waters group and then an all-in group. The Testing the Waters group is really just trying to see what this is all about, right? They want to be a part of the conversation. The simplest way for brands to enter the space is through some dipping into the marketing budget. So, you know, Visa buys a CryptoPunk, Budweiser buys Beer.eth, and Arizona Iced Tea buys a Bored Ape. It really is like a no harm, a very low risk approach to getting into the space, but it does make a signal. It's like, we're here, we're paying attention, and I think it's not a bad place to go. The kind of leap forward from there is around brand sponsorships. So taking your brand and letting another company like use your image and likeness. So NASCAR did this with Zed Run. Burberry did this with Blancos. I think NASCAR is a good example because they recently announced a whole new big expansion into the metaverse. And so it kind of just shows that once you're in the space, once you're paying attention, it does help shift and change your direction. And it's a much better approach than like sitting in your office all day and getting pitched from agency after agency, which is what's happening with a lot of these companies today. The last group is like they're creating these seemingly one-off NFT projects. And this is very hit or miss, right? But it does provide an easy exit. It just says we're creating something. I don't think a lot of these brands learn too much in doing this, and it oftentimes causes some frustration with collectors. But the one approach that happens often you'll see is it's a charitable component, right? All the proceeds are going to go to charity. And I'm not going to knock charity, of course, but it does sort of signal that you're not all in and you're not really sure if this is a good idea or not. But if you don't like it, it's all for charity, so who cares, right? But it is an interesting approach. The all-in group is really kind of sending a signal that we're here to stay, and that can be consistent drops. It can be building your own marketplace. But I kind of group them into three different areas here. One is to take your NFTs and make them digital, but it's something that's familiar. So like Top Shot and GPK trading cards, right? Trading cards, but they're digital. Time Magazine, it's a digital magazine cover. So it's not a huge leap for their audience to go to. Racing NFT, which is one of our projects, they did commemorative tickets, right? So it's something that makes sense for people. The next group takes their IP and creates a new revenue stream from it. And this is definitely like a very powerful approach, in my opinion, because it's taking what you have today and it's expanding your business into something completely new. Vault by CNN is one of our partners. They took their video and they created new collectibles from that video, sort of like a digital representation of saving your newspaper, like the front page of a newspaper. The final group here is around utility and access. This is really where I think it's all going. I think the Atom Bomb Squad does this exceptionally well. Kane's Vault, which is one of our partners, they created NFT keys for their alumni or for their donors and season ticket holders, which unlock experiences both on the NFT platform, but also is unlocking experiences at a football game, for example. All right, so future, where is this going? I definitely see the emergence of an NFT team coming. A lot of brands are outsourcing this today because they have no idea what they're doing, frankly. And so they are outsourcing it, but as they start to understand the power of this and they start to understand what it is they're actually trying to accomplish, they're going to be building out their own teams. And sort of with that, they're going to be integrating this across all of the functions of the brand and in their entire relationship with their customer. I think we're going to see a much deeper focus around execution and community. It's not just about taking what you have that's digital and or taking what you have today and making it digital, but you really got to bring your audience along. Not financial advice, but I do think there's going to be an interesting moment when all these NFTs, these seemingly like one-off projects that brands have created, like what's going to happen to those? They're still out there. We know who the owners are, right? This is the blockchain. If I was advising a brand and I was going to launch a new project, if they already had some NFTs out there, I would definitely try to activate those original collectors to kickstart the next project. And then I think, like I said, there's going to be a lot of move towards utility and access, especially like in the real world. But I do think we're going to see a shift to the more experiential metaverse in the very near future. So that's all I have. I really appreciate the time to talk with you all. And please reach out if you have any other questions. Thank you.